Today we're sitting down with Jonathon Kvarfordt, Coach K, fascinating, really smart dude, and VP of GDM at Momentum.ai, recently acquired by Salesforce. He's been in the space for a very long time, adjunct professor, Bryant University on go-to-market, and runs a lot of kind of community efforts with his GTM Academy. So if you're looking like, hey, who's using what works, what's going on in the space, he is absolutely one of those kind of thought leaders. I won't say influencer because he's more of a thought leader in my opinion, but an extremely kind of smart guy, knows where the bodies are buried, tried and understands what works and what doesn't. So today we spent a lot of time on that. So take a listen. If you like what you hear, go ahead and like, subscribe, get the word out. Reviews and everything else are also very much appreciated. If you have any questions or anything, send those to info@burnthemappodcast.com and let us know if you like the episode and enjoy Jonathon Kvarfordt. Cheers. I appreciate it, Jonathon. So good to see you. Good to see you, buddy. How you been? You have been with and working with Momentum for quite a while. They've been in the news recently.
Yes.
I hear someone looked at them the wrong way and then accidentally acquired them.
one of those things like that, yeah.
Tell me what happened. That was Salesforce, right?
Yeah, so I was, quick story, I was a customer of Momentum before 3 years ago, and I was doing that was back when ChatGPT first came out, and I was doing some crazy prompting because I was a nerd and I was figuring out prompting and going deep in it. And so the more I did prompting, the more I asked them to push the envelope of what I could do AI-wise. I would do prompts and they would tell me no one else is doing prompting like you. Would you please tell us what the hell you're doing? I'm like, sure. And that was back with 3.5. So it's nothing as you probably remember, the prompts back then were more intense because of the model. Mm-hmm. And now they're, I wouldn't say less intense or just different. Mm-hmm. Sometimes simpler. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I was happy to. I went and had a chat with their team, and I became an advisor talking about AI outputs and ideas for go-to-market teams and that kind of stuff, which I loved. And please know when I say this, I'm not saying that I have anything to do with the quality of what Momentum does, except for a little small thing with prompting. All the other 99% of what's amazing about Momentum has nothing to do with me whatsoever. But I love the technology and love the team so much that I was like, I want to be here. I could see something really cool happening that was unique to Momentum, partly because of founders and probably because of tech. Mm-hmm. So I joined as a fractional, doing some consulting here and there and helping with training. And then after a couple of months of going through training, my reason why I'm called coach is because I came from the sales coaching world. So I've built stuff on that. I've gone through, I don't know how many sales coaching curriculum and myself being a sales coach for years and years. So I was sales coaching the founders of the team. And after 2 months of that, I was like, you guys are awesome, but you need a professional sales team or we're never going to make it. So they hired a professional sales guy. Chris was a VP of sales, did an amazing job, hired a really, really good team. And after that happened, they're like, hey, we need to get marketing. And so I was with my, the co-founder who I reported to. I was working with Ashley. She's amazing. And she was kind of sort of handling marketing along with 15 other hats. And so we were interviewing marketing people. And she, after 4 or 5 people, she's like, do you just want to take over marketing? I'm like, I've done product marketing and I have my MBA in marketing, but I've never ran a marketing team before. So I'm happy to do it. And it worked well. I'm not your in the box market. I did things way differently than before because I knew the market and the ICP because I am the ICP, Mm-hmm. And then through there, this last year, we just grew like crazy, had some really good things that happened to us. Again, had nothing to do with me whatsoever. It just had great customers who mentioned us on 20 VC podcast or cool little things that happened that, again, I wish I could take credit for, but I can't. But with the combination of that and some of the new technology they came out with and other things led to the point to where everyone heard about us. And 2 things that happened. I don't know if you want to hear this. This is a really long story.
Go for it.
But the point is that 2 different people heard about us. So Jason Lemkin, who heard about us from Kyle Norton, came in and bought us for SaaStr. So he bought us and used us. And then he was on the 20 VC podcast with Mark Benioff talking about this AI technology that does Salesforce stuff. And Mark's like, what is this technology you keep talking about? He's like, it's Momentum. At the same time, different path, a guy named Adam, who's over the small business unit of Salesforce, which is a massive sales team, also knew Kyle Norton. And he knew that Kyle Norton was a customer. And he's like, I'm hearing about Momentum everywhere. Like, I see you're a customer. Tell me about him. And so he's like, he wanted an intro. And he came into us because of, obviously he knew Kyle. because he heard about us from all the things we were doing in marketing. But it was Kyle's recommendation that made him want to look at us better, because Kyle's, Kyle, and want to make sure that it wasn't just some fly by night crazy AI tech. So he came inbound. He wanted to buy the technology for his team as a technology, not as an acquisition. At the same time, we're going through Series B, and he's like, we got to talk. So Mark Benioff hears about us from Jason Lemkin and then from Adam, same time. And he's like, what the hell? So then they decided to have a chat with us, and kind of went down that path since last fall, and then went through the motion. I think we signed the deal or the due diligence back in November, December, sometime in there. And it took 45 days, and here we are now. So
nice.
How's that?
Good. There's a lot packed in there that includes, and basically just one of the things I very much like about you is just you have the momentum experience. You got go-to-market AI. You've got teaching at Bryant and stuff like that. You're one of the people that has calluses and blisters on their fingers from this stuff. You can kind of tell the people that have done it, seen it work, seen it not work. And one of the things that's always very interesting about short takes, I just go, wait, and the momentum just kind of adds to that. You still teach at Bryant right now as an academic professor?
I do. I just got done with my last class a week ago, so I have another one coming up sometime.
What's the hardest thing to teach people about AI and GTM implementations?
Well, that's two different questions, actually. So I'll answer the first one, then the second one.
Sure.
So teaching AI, most people now have used AI at some level, and it's teaching them that they have to do more than the easy button. Yeah. It's like, because they think they just come in and do a 1-sentence prompt and get this case study thing they do for school or whatever, like the cases. I'm like, you can't do that. It requires a little bit of brain power to do this,
Yeah.
And it's just helping people see what the difference is when you actually put some brain power into it, and then the results is way different, way better. But they don't know that because it's not their fault. They don't know what they don't know. So they don't know that there's even this world that exists that is opens up so many possibilities. So the first challenge is helping people understand what they don't know. And it's just a different world. And then at the end of the class, what I love to do is this. So the first couple classes are about prompting and AI basics and that kind of stuff. And then the fourth class is basically a demo day where I just go through AI tech. I'm like, okay, you've done prompting. Let me show you some fun stuff. And we go through agents and some fun things Suno making music with AI. And I'll go through some of my advanced automations and things I do with agents. And you can see their eyes are like, what the? Because I do that on purpose. I want to blow their minds so they go, there's a whole world here of really cool things I could do if I want to lean in. And then the last class is about how do I implement this in my life so it actually makes a difference now? With what I know, my skills right now, how do I use this now? And a lot of it comes down to being willing to rethink what you do and being open to change, which most people aren't. There's two sides of AI that I've noticed. When I first did AI 3 years ago, my pitch was, we'll help you do what you did before, better, faster, easier, cheaper. Right. But now I'm in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, I'm thinking there's a whole other world it's not doing the old way, better, faster, easier, cheaper. It's doing a whole different way. So same end results-ish, but a different way to get there. So which requires you to rethink everything. It's I posted about where this guy on Twitter was talking about how the banking system wasn't set up for AI agents. It was set up for humans. And Google released the web MPC, which is because the whole internet structure was built for humans. It wasn't built for AI agents. Yeah. So my point was, what makes you think that go-to-market or anything in revenue was built for agents? It wasn't. So you have to rethink everything from the foundational level to figure out you can do the optimization of old processes and you can get benefits from that, but you're never going to catch up to someone who's willing to blow everything up from the foundational point of view, because they're going to out-accelerate you so fast in the meantime. You know what I mean?
I do.
So anyways, that's the biggest challenge is that.
What's the biggest failure on an implementation you've been close to?
There's been a lot, just, there's a lot of failures.
There has to be.
There's a lot. Most of the time, when I say this, please know it's not just failures of the people, because a lot of the failures actually come from a customer's unwillingness to do some of the harder work.
Yeah.
For example, I have a friend of mine who went to get an AI SDR and heard really good things about one of the the most popular AI SDR tech, which is, by the way, not AI SDR. They went in, got the stuff going, wanted to get cracking, and then they had mediocre results. And so he was asking me to come in and look at their AI. So can you tell me what this company's doing wrong? And I go in the back end and see what their training data is and see what's going on. And I was like, the company's not the problem. You're the problem. Like, the AI doesn't have information on ICP. It's not educated on anything you're doing. Like, I know you do this with your own tech, but this particular technology did not do that inherently, because this is like 6 months before some integrations. And so they're getting mad at the AI. I'm like, this is not the AI's fault. So the failure in the implementation was, well, I guess you could say the company did not get the information they should have. That's one thing. But the company was not giving the AI what it needed to do its job.
They hit the easy button. They didn't realize
easy button. They just want to come in and give me pipeline, buy this thing, and bam, it's 40% more pipeline. It doesn't happen that way, you know? So that's one. The other side too is when, on the side of customers, people are overwhelmed like crazy. So when a technology, like for us as Momentum, we were coming in, and originally, I could say this because I was a customer and I felt it. And then I felt it from the implementation side. There's so many things you can do with AI and with Momentum and other technology that people become locked into indecision and don't know what to do, because they're like, I have 30 bajillion options. What do I do? You know?
Yeah. So
I think the failure on the AI side is being too flexible and being more prescriptive and saying, okay, I'm the AI expert. You're the expert in your business. I'm the AI expert of this company, whatever. I want to make sure I get your goals, and I'm going to tell you how to get there. And whether that's in a playbook or a use case you can easy plug and play, like there's ways to get around it. So it's not like a white glove experience every time, but something so that a person can say, here's the top 5 playbooks for marketing. Go do these steps. You know, we didn't have that before, and we failed miserably because we didn't have that. We do now, but we didn't before, you know. It's just enabling not only the buying motion, but enabling the AI usage. So it's incredibly easy because they've got a bajillion other things to worry about.
Yeah. Huh. What's the ideal rollout look like?
It depends. Depends on what someone's trying to accomplish, honestly. So I'm going to back up a second. In the ideal world, I'm of the opinion that I need to know what someone's ultimate goals or business outcomes are. And I mean, like, high level. Ultimate comes down to reduce costs, reduce churn, more upsells, better profit, more revenue, more pipeline, whatever. But of those, my question is going to be, okay, great. So you want more pipeline. I need more information on what's happening now. Like, where's the friction points? Where's the problems in the process? And having an ideal integration would be me understanding what that is to really get AI in there to really have a good impact. And then knowing that I'm trying to affect either a certain outcome with a specific KPI attached, I want to measure, I want to know that I'm making impact. Because otherwise, the problem I see with a lot of people is they just throw AI and just assume that KPI is going to change. It doesn't happen that way. You know, you got to know before going into it. You could haphazardly accidentally go into 10% increase in something with AI. But if you want good, deep, and impactful metric change, you got to know going into what the hell you're trying to influence. Otherwise, you're just guessing, you know? So ideally, the ideal implementation is knowing, what are we even trying to move?
Yeah.
What is it, win ratio? Is it pipeline growth? Is it conversions from stage to stage? Like, what is it? Are we trying to get more messages? Like, because otherwise you don't know if what you're doing is even working. Otherwise you're just doing AI just because you can say you did AI, which is a waste of time.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly kind of agree on that one. You know, there was a stat, and I'm sure it's not true anymore, but it used to be that 65 to 85% of the budget just went to the data engineering to set up the models in the first place. We used to do it all the time, where it would take, like, there was a few where I would spend, and the team would spend, like 3 weeks setting up a project. The data scientists would get a hold of it and turn it around in 3 days, and then get all the freaking credit. And just like, you're a wizard. And dude, he showed up at the last minute. This data engineering was the plumbing. And I mean, luckily that's largely kind of gone now. And I won't say gone,
but that's part of the problem is that there's the two sides. There's the data side that the AI needs. And I don't mean data just like in classic technical coding data, but I mean like what's the ICP data and what's the
The
conversational
context,
data, what's the
right?
market,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
context. It's the
Yeah.
context data. And then it's the human side, because in my opinion, the best AI use cases do not require human interaction, or if they do, they reduce
Ooh,
it.
wait,
So
go deeper there. How do you mean?
yeah, well, it's like, for example, I'll use momentum because I know a little bit about your tech, but I know momentum obviously much better.
Sure.
With a salesperson, they
Uh-huh.
spend all this time with entering data. Like, this is one of the use cases, which is bread and butter for us. And instead, we have the 40 fields they have to fill in after every call or opportunity or whatever. If that automatically gets done for everything,
Sure.
then the change management is saying, don't do that anymore, versus saying, do more of this. So like,
Gotcha.
if I can
Passive
tell a
data
salesperson,
collection. It's kind of the
yeah, it's like,
yeah.
but it takes away this behavior. So instead of
Sure.
saying every day at 4:00, filling your thing for 30 minutes, blah, 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 which never happens, by the way.
Yes.
All these consequences of behaviors of meetings you have to have, and RevOps and sales managers calling everyone every day saying, where the hell's the data? What's going on? Like, all these problems is eliminated, which means that the best use cases happen in the infrastructure, so that when a person does interact with AI, it's when it's actually useful to do it, not because it's
Sure.
because they have to. Like, there's two worlds. The old school world is SaaS, where they said adoption is shown by someone on my platform. So a salesperson would have 15 tabs open with whoever amount of tech they need to do, and figure out, how do I work through this tab to this tab, this tab. I know this because I trained it. I trained it for years. Go to this tab for this tab for this tab for this. It's a pain. And the new world of AI is going to the user in their workflow when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
So that half the stuff that's being done, they never see, because it's just populating up in the workflow when they need it. You know what I mean?
You get those magical aha moments from those too, where you get the delight.
Yeah.
Just, no more drudgery.
Yeah, like, this is amazing. Yeah, no more of this. So it's just, I think that when you look at some of the studies from McKinsey and others, this is not a diss on them, a lot of the applications of AI is coming from Copilot or ChatGPT licenses or something, and people are expecting transformation after throwing after Copilot licenses, which is not going to happen, because number one, no one knows how to prompt. Yep. Number two, if they did, it's going to take time to prompt. Number three, I think you can get meaningful time savings as an individual basis, which is great. And I think that, I'm not saying users shouldn't have AI. I think they should. Mm-hmm. But the more impactful business impact comes from infrastructure and top-down strategic usage of AI, not just throwing a Copilot license at someone saying, you save 10 minutes with an email. Woohoo, how much more revenue do you have? You know what I mean? Yeah. Who cares if I send an email? It's like, what impact is it having on my business?
Yeah.
Just because I save 10 minutes, who the F cares?
Yeah.
I mean, the user cares. Like, I care about saving time, but the business doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Has to be tied to the outcome, right?
Yeah.
Is it smarter than you yet?
AI?
Yep.
Depending on the topic, yes.
Have you wondered about your job?
No.
Why not? You saw the Anthropic stuff come out a little while ago. We got a jobs report. We're about 150,000 off where we should be from February. You're not worried?
Yep. No.
Why not?
Not for me personally.
Okay.
Because AI can't replace my IP.
What's your IP?
Me.
Say more.
If everyone has access to the same AI tech, then that means the supply of AI tech will dramatically decrease the value of that AI. So if someone's doing marketing, that's like everyone else's marketing, and using the same tools, there's not a lot of value to that. If then I use something unique, me, my strategy, my brain, my genius, my IP, and I'm not saying I'm a genius, I'm saying I believe every single soul on this planet has a genius they can tap into. When I'm able to wield AI power, leveraging my IP that no one else has access to, including all the training data of AI, no one else can touch me. So I'm not worried.
How do you protect that? Meaning,
protect what?
The data and the context that is you, right? Meaning, so like as an example, there's a weird rock and a hard place conundrum where companies need to become AI enabled, but also by becoming AI enabled, go read the terms of service of a lot of these contracts, and they're absolutely using that data to build products that represent and replace what you're currently doing. So you're in this weird, to participate, I need to go and participate. And by participating, I subject myself to getting reverse engineered just by participating.
Yes.
And in a lot of cases, you just go, what they can do, or at least the thing that I'm concerned on is that I think, because I largely agree with you, The conundrum is that oftentimes I go, people are usually really good at one or two things. They're not necessarily good at a lot of things. And they also have a lot of mitigating and a lot of weaknesses at the same time. And it oftentimes means that it's average at most things.
Yes.
And may not be as good as that IP. I have had recently the moments where I just went, oh shit, it's smarter than me. This can do what I currently do is I can train it to do what I do. And I'm pretty sure I can train it to do what I'm going to do. Self-healing, recursive loops, stuff like that, where I'm going like, I think I can get it to figure out my decisioning hierarchy. I don't have a better term for that.
Yeah.
Sorry, not exactly trademarkable, but
right.
I think
you could technically. They just trademarked right now. Everyone is trademarked. It's Dan's framework. Boom. There we go.
But one of those where I'm like, I agree with you. I am a unique and individual and nifty snowflake. But simultaneously, I'm going, by definition, most people are not above average, even at their job or whatever, which also means I go.
But that's because they've been required to be. Imagine a world where that's not the case and they actually can dive into their passion. That's where we're going.
Oh yeah. I like
that. Because
I hope so.
I think that's, we're in this weird transition to where people have had to be average to be able to make to make, do whatever. But in a world where you're able to really dig in, like whatever someone's geeking out about, like AI can't replace someone's geekiness. You know what I mean? It can't do it. It's like I'll give you an example. Music. I'm a musician. AI has written some amazing songs for me. Like I record a song, upload it, and I sing, and I write the lyrics, and it pops out a thing for me to produce, and it sounds awesome. It will never get the emotion of me singing. There's never going to be a time when AI will have the same emotion as Pavarotti. It will never happen. It's not there. Makes sense? Now, can they technically be able to perform that and be able to mimic a voice and blah, 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 blah? Yes. But is that the same emotion as Pavarotti? No. Now, that doesn't mean that music doesn't inspire emotion. I have AI music that does inspire emotion within me. But I don't go to a concert to watch a robot sing. Yeah. It's not the same as like when we have something that AI, I mean, maybe it will be a way where something on frequencies that can understand our souls and like there's a whole other spiritual thing. But the point is that there's a part of us that experiences each other's emotions. That's why we go to concerts, is to experience something, not just to listen, but to experience something. Right. And that's why you go to plays. That's why you go to movies. That's why you go to this stuff. And I'm not saying AI music can't help you experience something. It's just a different experience than human. Does that make sense? Yeah. There's still value in that. It's kind of like, for example, writing the book is another example where AI wrote the entire freaking book. Yeah. But I still had to have a human help me edit it to make sure it flowed well and made sense and all the stuff because AI is not there. Will it be there? Yes, it will be there eventually. But right now, it's not there.
So is that to some extent a Turing test of sorts, though? Because because what if you don't know?
You don't know. But like, I think that we're going into a world like, let me use a calculator, and I'm please forgive the comparison because I know AI is not like a calculator, but let's just use this for a second. Sure. When people started using calculators, it opened up their ability to think about more advanced mathematics and arithmetics and all this other stuff because the brain was freed from the simple arithmetic to more advanced things. Yeah. I think we're going into a world where we'll have two categories where there's going to be AI music that I love. I listen to AI music when I listen to the radio. I love AI music. I'm not dissing it. Really? I jam out. I experience it. I love AI music, and I'm a musician. I love it. But I also know it's AI music. And like, for example, I don't know if you've seen the thing on TikTok recently where it talks about PetSmart or PetSmart. You've seen that? Yeah. So freaking funny. And that experience is unique to this kid. It's not the same. The point is that kid's quirkiness around this stupid topic, PetSmart, whatever. Could I get that passion from an AI right now? Currently, no. And eventually in the future, maybe, probably, but it's just different. It's not the same. It's like, I think of Star Trek as an example. Because Star Trek was a world that mastered AI and then mastered the stars, and people still had jobs, even though they had the most advanced AI ever. They still were doctors. They still saw this stuff. They were just doing a different form. So it's either we know, and sometimes we may not know, but there's going to be experience of having, again, AI music. There's going to be human music. And we get to choose which experience do I want to have. And it doesn't devalue humans. It's only going to increase the value because of the supply. Yeah. You have more supply of AI, less supply of humans. So then someone who's really good at freaking singing live will be valued more because there's not many of them. It's supply and demand. It's just
It's the zag.
basic.
So it's authenticity. Hard to
Yeah,
fake
I mean,
authenticity because there is
I'm a spiritual person, so I think there is unique, whatever you want to call it, frequency, combination of cells, whatever. No matter what scientists do to create an AI robot to do whatever that we do, and emulate emotions, and even somewhat have their own consciousness, if and when that happens, it's not going to be the same as humans. It's just not. It's going to be a different entity I can interact with, but I could have emotions around it, but it's going to be different. It's like Jarvis and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man could not have become Iron Man without Jarvis, and Jarvis would not have become Iron Man without Tony Stark. They had to be together. And it's the combination of both of them that made Tony Stark who he was, or Iron Man what he was.
I just wonder if we're getting close because I agree with everything you just said. But there was an MIT study, and I think this one's coming up on like 2 years ago, that between the content of, and I don't even know that this still works because now you have people talking about AI slop and stuff like this. But this was like, I want to say August 2024, probably.
You know what you're talking about?
People were MIT put it side by side and found that people, when they didn't know that it was AI generated content, preferred the AI generated content.
Yes, I remember this. Yep.
And I do think, to your point, I do think it is changing, if you will. I do think people do chase novelty, and I do think they do chase authenticity. Like the cold outreach stuff. Have you ever been on one of those and actually been fooled by it? And then you found out later, and it ruins the whole thing. Like you find out, like,
yeah,
I've had one or two where you find out, and it's like that surprise that you have this emotional response in either direction when you have a surprise, right? Exponentially.
Yeah.
So when you find out you got fooled by someone who doesn't actually know who you are and or follow you or whatever else, you just go, "Oh, you pile of crap. No, I'm going to get off this call,"
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's like, to me, I don't know if the word is authenticity. I think it's more alignment.
Okay.
I don't think anyone is surprised that I use AI. I use AI all of the time, but at the same time, I'm not shy about saying I use AI. So I'm in alignment with, if I was saying it's only me and it's just me and I actually use it, it's kind of like when people say they don't use steroids and they use steroids. It's just out of integrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're open about it, who cares if I got an outreach from an AI or not? I don't care if I get outreach by an AI. I don't care. What I care about is this a waste of my time or not? Do they actually give a shit about what I'm talking about? Like when I get an automated email that I knew was AI drivel saying, "Have you ever thought about writing a book?" I'm like, the main tagline in my freaking profile is getting my book. What are you talking about? It's like, just either train your AI better, your humans better. But either way, this is crap. I don't care if it's AI or not. It's just, So I just think that there's going to be, of course, I could be totally wrong, but there is a difference between AI intelligence and human intelligence. And wherever we go in the future, I think it's just going to open up the ability for us to go different directions. Because to your point of like MIT, they're looking at current status of AI content versus human content and someone liking the one over the other. What if we're not even supposed to be doing content in the first place? Who cares? Like, let me give an example. I taught a class where I was teaching about AI strategy implementation to a class at Pavilion. And I made some Claude skills that people could use to actually implement the thing after asking some questions and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
The time it took me to make those skills was a half hour, but the content that it took to make those skills is years. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The butterfly.
So that IP took forever to be able to make this 30-page document how to do AI implementation, and then distilling it into a skill that can recreate it into a Claude skills for someone else who has no idea what the crap they're doing. Right. The time it took me to get there, my intelligence going into it took time, but now the output's faster. It's like it gets done really, really quick. The value of the content, even though it was AI created, ultimately came from me, from years and years of experience. Sure. So like the value of that, uniqueness of it, someone could go into Claude right now and say, "Hey, make me an AI implementation plan and it'll do whatever job." But it's not going to be based on all, like I had someone tell me this today, which I really do think, and I'd love your take on it. Is that the value of IP is knowing what mistakes not to make, because the AI doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because a lot of the things I've learned from AI implementation has been actually doing AI implementation and failing over and over and over and over again. And the AI is a convergent thinking process. So it converges all these thoughts to give you an average of what could possibly happen, but doesn't customize it to whatever situation. So you're not getting all of the knowledge and experience of someone who's actually been there and has the battle scars to prove it. AI doesn't have battle scars. It just has information, you know?
Agreed. So I got one more. When you're doing GTM AI, well, actually, this is almost two questions. What is one of the call them principles, main drivers, one of your kind of paradigms that you used to have about AI and GTM that you no longer hold? Like, so you've done a lot of the sales coaching and other stuff. What is one of the things that you brought from that space and have said, hey, here's the reality, is just that one no longer matters, and or people are saying it now, but you'd get booed off stage for even saying it, quite type of thing?
I used to think that humans having a sense of emotional intelligence was unique, and I don't think it is.
Meaning like animals didn't?
Meaning that AI doesn't have it. I think it does. I think it understands it. Now I'm someone who spent a lot of time on emotional intelligence on my own inner being and my own inner work. So I don't say that lightly, but after seeing things with momentum in other places, like AI is actually really good about understanding emotions. And even like the CEO of Claude says, we don't know if Claude's conscious or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is. Like I said, I think if it is, it's a different consciousness than what we would perceive as conscious. It's just an entity of whatever. But the point is that I think AI is smarter at different things than we give it credit for. That doesn't mean, again, that it replaces me wanting to have a chat with Dan about how my life just had this horrible turn. Like some people like to use AI for that, and some people like to use humans. Like I think to me, it's like, who cares? Like as long as you get the output you're getting for, that's what really matters, you know?
It's interesting. A lot of these are coming from stuff that's just been on my mind as of recently. And again, our implementation is stupid fucking hard. Again, one of those where every time I do it, people will look at the stuff we build, go, wow. And then I go, yeah. And then they go, well, let's go set it up. And I go, okay, heads up. I can do a lot of things that show up today, but to get really good results takes 3 months, takes whatever. But it absolutely takes work. It takes getting the brow sweaty and the hands calloused and dirty and everything else. Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
I don't think people understand, because what you're trying to do, it's kind of like using the banking as an example. It's like they're coming in saying, we want to make old banking better. And you're saying you can't do old banking anymore. You know, because you have to do things differently. It's a new way of existing. And they're like, what do you mean old banking? And they start freaking out. So it's like, that's the hard part, is that it's the mindset of the people. It's the structure and process. It's the systems. It's the technology. It's like every layer of what we've done is old. So you have to cast it off and be able to redo it. So it takes time. And I can't even imagine how difficult it is for you, because you're dealing with people who are, again, bless their souls, they're in this transition and trying to discover how to transition from old to new. And you're like the guide to take them from one place to the other. And you're dealing with all of their emotions and all the technological limitations you have, which is not your fault. It's based on their company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that I think at the core is the hardest. It's the technology working together, and it's humans working together based on process systems. It's freaking hard. It's really hard, especially in massive orgs when they've done the things they've always done for however many long, and it just doesn't change like that, you know? Crazy.
When you're doing your kind of community stuff, you're pulling a lot of these, I mean, you have to come across this. I mean, you just talked about like building your, by the way, I want to know what makes a good prompt.
Okay, well, let's start with your first one first. I'll go there. Let me think on that one.
I want the rule on, in your opinion, on build versus buy. It's getting pretty damn easy to build most stuff. And the more I play with stuff, the more I'm amazed, like, oh crap, you can literally, you know, hanging out with my brother the other day, he's trying low carb stuff. He's like, I built a ketosis tracking app, like on the fly. I'm like, oh, I can do that. Dashboarding and everything else that I can do. What do you, when you come across it, because you come across a lot of tools, a lot of people come to you on which tools should you use? What's the rule on build versus buy, and how has it changed? Where is it now, I guess, is what I'd say. 5 years ago, I had a very different answer than I have now.
Yeah, man. I'd love to get your take on this, because I know you're probably going up against it more than I am. I feel like I like spectrums. Yeah. So the old world before pre-vibe coding and cloud code and all this other stuff, if you had this much of a spectrum, how much you could do by yourself was like down here. So you had to buy. And that is continuing encroaching this way, so that of the things you can absolutely not build, we're like here. And we're not quite all the way, but there's a lot you can do. But I also know, like, I'm curious to see what you think. I've been categorizing it by saying, from an individual point of view, like a calorie counting app, whatever.
Yeah.
That's great for the individual. As soon as you say, okay, let's roll this out to 20,000 users, that's a whole different conversation. Right? So the complexity of what happens there, you have security, you have data, you have the warehousing, you have the motion, you have all this crap that happens as soon as it goes above and beyond one person, Yeah. So I think that's one barrier, is that vibe coding can create technology that one person can manage that does have a lot of people interact with it, like through base 44 or Lovable or whatever. But as soon as that technology needs to be used by multiple people inside the organization and collaborate, it gets things way, which this, like, this, you build a technology that does this. It's hard. It's hard to vibe code this. The second part is, I think people's overconfidence of how easy it is to vibe code, because it is super easy, gives them this impression that they can just go vibe code something. And I can't tell you how many times the Momentum says, yeah, we're going to build this on our own. They come back 3 months later saying we can't build this. I'm like, I know you can't build this.
I know you can't.
I know. I know you can't build this. But what's fascinating though is, like, OpenClaw has been blowing my brains, in the best way. Because, like, when I was listening to the founder, the guy who made OpenClaw, and when you think about he talked about the story when he asked OpenClaw to do something, and it had to figure out its own, build its own integration, did the thing, and came back and, like, responded to him in a voice mode or something. He's like, I never programmed voice mode into you. How'd you do this? So, like, the world that can, like, if I had an OpenClaw type of tech that could be implemented by a team, I could theoretically replace Momentum, theoretically, because I'd have the AI who could figure out all the integrations of the technology, and I could do that. It doesn't exist now, but it could do that. So we think about that world of, like, encroaching and build. That's where it's going to be crazy, which, again, I think it's going to come down to why IP is so important.
Yeah.
Because even though I could vibe code something, the person vibe coding is limited by their information, what they know. And they could go out to the internet and ask all these questions, but what the internet's not going to tell you is all the mistakes they're going to make by battle scars. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, I have a friend who I literally just talked to yesterday. She's a crazy Claude coder. I talked to her on the line. She had 7 terminals going at the same time. She also has a technology that she uses. And I was like, what stops you from building your technology on your own by yourself right now? She's like, well, here, let me tell you why. Because she's a Claude coder. She's like, this doesn't have in it the speed of getting someone up and running really fast. First off, the speed is important because that gets you time to value and time to impact quickly.
Yep.
2 is it doesn't have my IP and experience, because I've been in this, because her technology is a scheduling time management tool and working with prospects, that kind of stuff. Anyway, she's like, Claude Code cannot replace my 15 years of doing this. I know this stuff. It's like when the time changes, and Arizona's now in a different time was before, you have to make sure the AI knows this. It's like little stuff like that unless you knew that stuff offhand, Claude Code's not going to tell you that, because you have to prompt it to tell you that. And you don't know how to prompt it to tell you that unless you know how to tell that. Does that make sense? So anyway, she walked me through her reasoning of why someone have a hard time building it, because I'm like, you're a Claude coder. You're making all these crazy cool workflows. Why not just build it? And her last thing was, like, the security layer is something you cannot overemphasize. It's a big deal as far as data security and how it's housed and where it gets put and how things are being trained on and blah, 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 all this other stuff. It's like a big deal that people just don't think about, What do you think?
You've heard of, like, Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours?
Yep.
A lot of our implementation has been focused on, like, I deliberately and tell people on the team, you're trying to replace yourself. You're deliberately trying to replace yourself. But because, like, basically the best premise for making someone indispensable is the people that make their jobs irrelevant are the first person you put in charge of the next biggest task. So I inevitably am in this spot right now where I go, there were certain hurdles that we kind of came across that can LLMs, and do they make mistakes? Yes. Are they smarter than a human? No. But we just opened up the floodgates that is, like, MCPs and basically most of the data that your stack now needs to plug into. We went from really hard to get it all plugged in to almost no friction whatsoever.
Fairly easy, yeah.
And that was, at least for me, the same feeling of like understanding open source software. It's like, this is a different dimension of being able to compete that I have not interacted with before. And so even though the LLMs, and they're definitely smarter. And again, you put me in front of a Claude or whatever terminal without context and I'll beat the crap out of it. But I can give it quite a bit of a kind of the decision-making hierarchy and everything that I make. And to some extent, it is me with almost infinite hours available to it. It can, with the right setup, and she's 100% right. The configuration and that type of stuff is difficult. I do think people pay you for your taste. I do think that's what people will continue to pay for, right? It's the, likened it to the, what's the guy that did all of like the Beastie Boys hit songs, Rick Rubin. Guy's like, he's like, I have no technical acumen in music whatsoever. He's like, Michael Jackson couldn't read music. Do you know Michael Jackson couldn't read music?
So did Paul McCartney. He couldn't do it either.
Right. So these people, they made their money based on taste, and to a big part of it, momentum, and how quickly you can get into a field and then stay ahead and basically accelerate to refine your taste, your curation skills, is I think what people will continue to pay for. That being said, the more I work on it, the more I just go, I'm basically just teaching it how I think. I'm trying to stay ahead, so the context and stuff is still driven by me.
Dude.
And there's definitely some big rules around, don't you ever let it start making the strategic decisions for you. If you don't understand how the systems work, you're fucked. That is the day you become irrelevant. That is the day, to your thing. I can vibe code a bunch of really cool stuff. But then as soon as it deploys and I see all of the bullshit that got thrown into the feature set that was irrelevant, I go, okay, I need to hop back in here. I let that go rogue because it built everything I told it to. But when I didn't do the proper reviews and checks and everything, it ended up actually making a bunch of garbage that I didn't want. And the bloat is real. So the difference and kind of the trick is largely, how do I configure it so that I can accelerate and basically stay ahead? Yes, 100% agree. And then on top of that, how do I make sure that I stay in front of the decisioning on that? But now, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a word where like I'm asking the same question, like, what is my value? If I could replicate everything that I do in marketing or strategy or community or whatever, what then is my value? Again, I don't have the clearest answers, but all I know is like, for example, you just talked about how you gave the AI a decision tree. Could it do that if it didn't know Dan's mode of doing that? It's you being a creator. So you figuring like, oh, we could do this, or we could do that, or we could do like, it's the same the calculator. Like it opens up this different mode of thinking you've never had access to because you're so busy with arithmetic. It's like we're going to a place where the new world, like I'm more critical thinking and more creative thinking now than I ever have been in my life. And I have AI doing all sorts of crap, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm also doing, my brain is more tired at the end of the day than ever because I'm thinking deeper and more about things that I'm thinking about versus the old word. Well, half my life was like thinking, okay, gotta copy this, paste this over. And it's like you choosing clothes. Your life was spent in your entire job choosing clothes. And now you're like, your clothes are picked for you. What do you want to do? You're like, I don't know. I've never been in this place before. I just pick my clothes and what do I do? I think it's the same way. We have this whole world we haven't been opened up to that once it's open, we're like, how do we ever exist without this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Last question. You come across someone, mom, dad, whoever, call them the one that's a little bit of a later adopter, technical Luddite, if you will. They have 2 weeks to learn as much as they can. What would you tell them to do?
2 weeks to learn what they can. That is a good question. So someone who's never touched AI before, what should they do in 2 weeks?
You have 2 weeks to get them up to speed. What should they do?
Well, I would say hit up Dan because he'll help you because he's a nice guy. That's step one.
Then when he doesn't answer.
Well, first I would say YouTube is your best friend. And for free, you can learn a lot from YouTube. So if you don't know anything about AI, Amaderio, somebody, and I can't remember who it was, he did the basics of an LM. It's like a 4-hour long YouTube video. It's like a year old. It's one of the best trainings I've ever seen in the basics of AI. I would go watch some free stuff like that. You know, I personally have a hard time telling someone to pay for something unless it actually has value, including my own academy. I'm like, if you want the basics, go to YouTube, go for free and go learn that. Don't pay me anything. Go there. Go through the free courses, go through that stuff. And that's literally in 2 weeks, all you'd probably be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I would say the best thing for someone to do is to use AI as much as possible and to keep asking the question, I wonder if I could do this with AI. And some of the time you'll answer be no. And because you'll figure it out and try it out and it blows up in your face. You try to vibe code a CRM like Salesforce. You're like, yep, I can't do that. Because of your own lack of knowledge or because AI couldn't do it or whatever the reason is. But you'll find that more than half the times when you ask the question, I wonder if I could do this, more than half the times you can. And it's freaking coolest thing ever when you can, in my opinion. So as long as someone goes learns for free and they play with AI and start asking, I wonder if, and push themselves to do it, not be satisfied with lazy answers or lazy input, you'll be surprised how much you can get done and learn in a very quick time.
Appreciate that. Where can people find you, and who else do you suggest that they also find?
Gosh, well, LinkedIn's for me my dumping ground. So if everyone wants to see what I do, it's all LinkedIn. It's all dumped there. Man, you, obviously, I'd say you for sure, because you're one of the
Appreciate that.
True AI souls. If it makes any sense. Like, you know what you're doing, and from battle scars. You're a battle scarred AI pro. There's a girl named Allie Miller.
Mm-hmm.
She's awesome. I tell everyone to follow her because I think she does really, really good work. Most of my people are kind of go-to-market revenue specific, but my buddy of mine, his name is Jonathon Moss. He's a great guy, does a really good job. There is Tani Perry. She does a lot with marketing, but really, really good stuff. Maya Voye, she's awesome, very deep in this space as well. Alex Lindell, he's deep in clay. If you like clay type stuff, Alex is a great person to follow as far as like methodology and that kind of stuff. And then, man, I have so many people. If you're in business, I say totally follow Kyle Norton. He's the man. He puts out really good newsletters and podcasts. He's awesome. And then one more, let's see, who else should I say? I'm going to shout out to my friend Danny Mathers. She's a AI specialist in England who's awesome. She's awesome. So I have lots of others, but I'll stick with those for now.
Awesome. You are a legend, Coach. I appreciate it, buddy. And I'm glad to actually know that. That was something I've definitely wondered about for a long time. Like, wonder what he coaches. But
what I coach?
Yeah. Well, it was good to hear the origin, genesis on that one.
Yeah. It's just a Excel. I actually made a course through the Sales Enablement side called Sales Coaching Mastery. That's part of how I got my nickname, was that course, and that was a long time ago. It's a whole other lifetime. So kind of funny.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you, buddy. Cheers. Bye.